part of maturing into a young adult and into adulthood is going out beyond your own self-perceptions of yourself and the community and the world at large. And when you donate time and your effort to help others, you expand your horizons and you create a sense of self as well as a sense of community with the world at large, ultimately. And it makes the world a little bit better place.
The Harbor School is a small independent school on Vashon Island in Washington State. And every year our graduating 8th graders participate in an extended travel study project that lets them take everything they've learned in their time with us and to get it out into the real world and to experience some new cultures. And we found that this has a lasting impact on their future education and perhaps on the entire rest of their life. This year, our trip took us down to the Deep South, Mississippi and Louisiana, and our first project was a cleanup on the Black Creek in the DeSoto National Forest in Mississippi.
Our trip started with a 4-day, 4-night canoe trip. This brought everyone to a whole new dimension of stress. What with wet clothes, sandy tents, and all of that, it was still a ton of fun.
It was just amazing to see how much trash there is around and how many things are still down from Katrina. I mean, like when we were canoeing down the river, there was all the trees and just rags and cans and everything just like floating down the river, and I thought that was really amazing. You don't see that very often.
It's really fun to compete with how many cans you get because you know you're doing a good thing and you're having fun at it, so you're not harming anything. You're making everything better. It's like a double positive, and so it's just really exciting to be able to do all that.
It was really inspiring to see how, like, if everybody picks up something, how much garbage we get off the river.
The air that layers the river is a fresh smell that makes the sandy beach feel like the place where everything begins. Life, death, seasons, health and no health, happiness, everything. Although it may bring pleasant and unpleasant things, it will always be the place where all will change.
We had to scurry to set up our makeshift shelter as water streamed off my nose and into my mouth. It was over soon, but it left everything warm and dripping.
Well, we were all huddled at times, and then we'd send somebody out to push the water out, and then we'd go back and huddle again and eat pasta. And after getting it up, it just made sense to be together. It just made sense to, like, stay warm together because that was helping the group.
It was just like this really exciting, different kind of moment where we all just working together.
So far on this trip, I'm thinking we're sort of getting along more than usual, because in school we would sort of break off into our own little cliques in the class, but sort of like the heat, the exhaustion, the tiredness, we can all come and complain together.
All that I can say was that this was hot, sticky, hard, and very, very fun.
When we do things that are a little harder or more difficult, we need to be able to count on each other and to count on people to help us get through things. And whether that's just something as simple like a rainstorm or something major like a catastrophe, we're going to rely on the people around us to come in and help. And that's what we're here to do, and that's why we're here learning this a little bit now. Well, after our bonding experience on the Black Creek in Mississippi, our goal was to have the students experience the culture and people of New Orleans itself. So we worked with a number of different community organizations to complete a few different projects, including working on a community garden and transplanting trees along the coast to help with erosion there. And in that whole time, the students really got to see the city itself and to meet its people and to experience the vibrant rebuilding culture post-Katrina.
Because it's been a while since the actual storm, I think that most people have kind of forgotten about how horrible it was and that people are still going through things like that.
We figured out from our studies that there was definite lack of communication because the levees would break and people didn't know about it, and so it would be interesting to see how 5 years later that has affected them.
They start growing their own food, they start, doing all sorts of local stuff which we do on Vashon too, solar panels, all sorts of energy saving things, and yes, it could definitely help.
I like to help people, and I've never really gotten a chance before, but I'm hoping this will open my eyes to what it takes and just what you gotta do.
I have seen the quarter in all of its grotesque wonderfulness, and I have seen the Ninth Ward in all of its destruction.
I was grateful that I live in such a beautiful place, grateful that I came to a great place, and grateful that I can make New Orleans even more beautiful.
It doesn't matter how much or how little you help. Any help helps a lot.
I think travel study is very important. Some people think that travel study is just traveling and breaking from school. But everyone who has been on a travel study trip can tell you that even though they are so much fun, we still are learning, just not in an everyday generic fashion.
Bad weather is very valuable. You learn more in bad weather than good weather. They need to change oil in a car. They need to change a tire. They need to learn life experiences. They haven't had that yet. These kids, from my standpoint, if the goal is to get more people introduced and ultimately influence the future, this is time very well spent.